Good morning. Welcome to worship with the people called United Methodist in Havre, Montana, Chester, Montana, and Big Sandy, or wherever you are. We are glad you are here for our digital worship this morning. My name is Sue King, and I'm your pastor today, and we will be celebrating Holy Communion. So if you want to pause the video and have an opportunity to get some juice and a piece of bread or a cracker, and then resume the worship service with us, we will have communion together. This morning, I want to share a story with you. About a week ago, Wednesday, we had a very strong day of wind, and I was walking my dog Patches at lunchtime, and I noticed that there was a little camper, the kind that people would have pulled behind their station wagon in the 1960s, and it was sitting off at the side of the road, and all of a sudden I started laughing because this little camper had a bumper sticker, not a bumper sticker, but a license plate that said tumbled, and then underneath it, on the back side of it, in a panel, it said these words from lyrics from an old song. I'll keep rolling along, deep in my heart is a song. Here on the range I belong, drifting along with the tumbling tumbleweeds. And then wedged right underneath the camper was a tumbleweed. And on my Facebook page, I put a picture of that and said, I wonder if plants ever take the opportunity for a photo op. It just made me laugh. And you might think I'm kind of strange for thinking that plants have agency or might be able to willfully do something like that. But the reason was I had just gotten done reading a story in a book by Reverend Dr. Randy Woodley. It's about shalom and the community of creation and indigenous vision. And in this story, in this book, he shares the story from the Cherokee Nation, which he is a part of. And I'd like to honor them today by reading this story to you, or just telling it to you. It says, in every traditional Cherokee knows that it is considered polite to thank the Creator and the animal when it furnishes its own life for the sustainability of the life of people. And it is said that in the past, during an era of ingratitude of the Cherokee, that the people began to kill more than what they were able to eat. They considered that very evil. As a result of these abuses, the animals decided to hold a council, and in order to protect themselves from the evil that had come upon the once grateful Cherokee. After much debate, the animals decided to bring diseases upon the Cherokee people, and the Cherokees began to get sick and dying from these diseases. And after many Cherokee had died, they pleaded with the animals, please, we will become grateful and kill only that which we will eat. Please, but the animals would not recant. At the same time, the plants were watching all that was happening, and they watched as the Cherokee children began to get sick and even to die. And the plants decided to hold a council. And in the council, they agreed to provide medicine for the Cherokee. Each night, as the Cherokees would sleep, the plants would come to them in their dreams and show them how to use the plants to heal the diseases that the animals had brought upon them. The Cherokees recovered, and they agreed to kill only what they could absolutely need to use. And they also agreed to say a prayer of thanks to any animal that they killed and to any plant that they took for food or for medicine. The Creator was happy with the Cherokee once again because harmony was restored among all that he had created. I'm appreciating Dr. Reverend Woodley's sharing of this story. And it begs a question and observation, but why gratitude is so important to our inner peace and our community harmony. No matter the culture, one of the first things that we do is teach our children to say thank you and to do acts of gratitude. I shared this story with our middle school youth group a week ago, but before that I'd asked them to tell about and actually act out what was a time that they received a gift that they were very grateful for. And as they acted it out, we all got to guess. Well, most of them acted out times of getting family members, a new baby in their family, or being grateful for a grandparent, or being grateful for their mom and dad. It's important to be grateful, isn't it? But even so, we need to be reminded. And I always think of November as a month in which we especially remember to be grateful. The harvest is in, and we take the opportunity to give thanks at Thanksgiving at the end of the month. But one of the things that we do in the church is that we celebrate All Saints' Day on the first Sunday of November. It's a time for us to remember the saints of our lives. No, not the celebrity saints like Mother Teresa or St. Patrick or St. Kateri, but other people, ordinary people, the ones who comforted us when we fell down and needed a bandage on our knee when we were younger, or those people who helped by shoveling the sidewalks or clearing the snow away from houses of those who are handicapped or elderly. Those who call you up when they know that you're sick and bring over soup or other kind deeds. Those are the saints that I'm talking about. We can name them as our grandparents, our own parents, our aunts and uncles, cousins, friends, teachers, coaches. All those people that we remember in our lives have really, really touched us and made us feel that we were worthy and special. Those are the saints that we remember. I'm going to light a candle now. This is one of the things that we do in our church on All Saints' Day, is to light a candle in memory of the saints of our lives. But also, November is a time for remembering our veterans, those people that served and protected us in our country in the past and today. I always like to think about, as President Abraham Lincoln once said, those who gave their last full measure of devotion for our country, remembering those veterans, and also those veterans who are still living today, who have come home and come back to their lives, to their society, but perhaps still bear the wounds, both outward and inwardly, of the traumas of war. I think it's important to honor them this month as well. And of course, Thanksgiving. When we think about Thanksgiving, lots of times we think about the meal that we're going to have with our friends and family and neighbors. You may fix your mother's favorite dressing recipe or dessert. You might have the fry bread that is traditional in your family, or you might have lefse that with brown sugar and butter and rolled up, something that's a special holiday treat. All of those things help us to remember not just the food that we're grateful for, but all those family members who might be passed and all those conversations that we've had with them in the past. One of the things that we do in the church is that we have communion together. And the Greek word for Holy Communion that was originally the Eucharist, which means the great Thanksgiving. And when we sit together and we have the bread and the fruit of the grape, we are in many ways remembering not only our Lord Jesus Christ who gave himself for us, but we are also remembering the communion of saints from the past and the ones present and the ones who are yet to come as we share the good news of what he has done for us, and we give thanks for that. Today we will be sharing communion together. Sometimes when I drive across Montana and it's really windy, I see tumbleweeds that line up on the fence, and they're stacked one on top of the other, and sometimes it looks like they're spectators at a parade, all piled up, crushed together, looking to see what's coming down the road. And as I was thinking about the sermon this week, I thought about these tumbleweed almost as if they were individual people of the past who had been lined up along the road to see Jesus as he was coming on that road to Jerusalem, knowing that he was going to be giving himself away for them and for all people. And I think about how there might have been Bartimaeus, the blind man who called out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." He would have been lined up there. And then right beside him, perhaps the 10 lepers were there, the ones who begged Jesus to heal them, and the one who came back to give him thanks. And then perhaps the father, Jairus, who came to talk to Jesus about healing his daughter. And as he was talking to him, the woman came up who was bleeding for 12 years, and she touched his robe. To me, in my mind, she's like that tumbleweed that went flying up over the fence and took the courage and agency to get close to Jesus. We've all been pretty tumbled by this pandemic. I suspect that you have felt the effects of it. Maybe you've had COVID. Maybe you've lost someone from COVID. Maybe you're praying for the health of someone who has COVID and you're really worried about them right now. Maybe you're a healthcare provider and you're weary and tired and irritated by all that's happening with the pandemic and not being able to protect people in the way that you would like. We are tumbled in our life sometimes, but we too can be an expectation. We too can look forward to Christ coming into our lives and being with us even in the midst of being tumbled by life. He is present and with us, and we too could have the agency to reach out in hope and in gratitude for the good things of our lives. It's the way that we maintain hope, is to be grateful and to always find something that is good, that is the promise of this life that we have together. Oftentimes, it is doing something for someone else that most makes us feel grateful. Isn't that an amazing paradox? So know that in this day, we are not held back by any fence. All people are welcome to have communion together at the table at the United Methodist Church. If you are seeking a relationship with the living Christ, this is a table that is open for you. And we take the bread, and we remember that night in which he gave himself up for us. Jesus took the bread and he broke it after he had blessed it, and he gave it to his disciples, and he said, "Take and eat, and whenever you do this, do it in remembrance of me." And after the meal, he took the cup and again blessed it, and he gave it to them, and he said, "Drink this. This is the cup of the new covenant of my blood, which is poured out for the forgiveness of all people. Whenever you do this, do it in remembrance of me." And so I invite you to enter into this communion of saints, ordinary people who follow an extraordinary Lord. Take and eat and drink. Thanks be to God. Thank you for worshiping with us today. My prayer for you is that you will find ways to be grateful and feel Christ's presence in your life, even though you may be tumbled by life at this time. May the Lord be with you. May God keep you. May God fill your hearts with peace. And may the Lord be with you throughout this week until you come again to worship. Amen.
This day I am thankful for Gatsby, my dog.
My name is Gracie, and I'm thankful for my family.
My name's Shyla, and I'm thankful for my vehicle starting. My name is Chloe, and I am thankful for my dog Cooper.
I'm Brisbane Ryder, and on this day I'm thankful for my family.